Well, you're going to have to talk us through what on earth was going on there now.
Okay. All right. It's probably easier if I cut back to this then. So, sequencing everything with the Akai Force, which add exposed, but you get the point. Just has all my different layers and tracks on it, and just clip launching basically. Mixture of, it's mostly MIDI with just a few. So I'm using an 808 sampled kit on playing from the Force, and vocal samples. I sang along to it for a bit, but other than that, it's just 2 vocal takes playing in stereo.
Were you recording the vocals on the fly for that, or?
No, so they were pre-recorded, but I did sing along to it at one point. Again, I plan to do it more, and I also had another. There's like another phrase, but I cocked it up. So, but yeah, so the main sort of vibe of it is, as you probably guessed, a Game Boy. Just that up here, original DMG Game Boy, modded to hell to do, MIDI and stuff, and that's running a bit of software called MGB, which is literally MIDI Game Boy. So you get 3 monophonic voices and a noise channel, and I'm just using the 3 different voices. Trying to think, actually, can I zoom this in? Probably. Oh no, it's falling down now. Okay, never mind. I've knocked my tripod loose. But yeah, so the major sound is, the vibe of it is the Game Boy. Vaguely framed up again without falling down. Yes. Don't tell anybody I do this for a living. But yeah, major voice part is coming from the Game Boy, which is doing. You probably only hear it over the radio mic, but you'll get an idea. Those sort of noises, and then that's got a really long, sustained reverb on it, and then the sort of lead sound that comes in later on is the Behringer Crave down here, which is doing, and then I'm just messing with the cutoff of that. What else? My Volcas, as always, the bass down here, which I basically put in absolutely everything, is doing the real heavy bass stuff, with a bit of gnarliness coming from the OP1 down here. So they're playing the same thing, but the OP1 is adding a bit of sort of growly distortedness over the top. I can't remember the names of the different synths, but it's that one. And then I'm doing, it's a combination of the 808 drums on there, and then also the Korg Volca drum. So that comes in later on, and that's doing this stuff. Oh, turn it all the way down. But that's got the real heavy, decaying bass kick on it. I love that little drum synth. It's brilliant. You can make some insane sounds for it. One of my friends he's developing his own mobile game. It's just a fairly generic sort of jumpy thing, but he needed some sounds for it. And I just sat down this, just continuously pressing the random button and twiddling with it and making nothing but weird, spacey, decayed, jumpy, and explosion noises. It's brilliant for that. What else? Oh, the FM, which is just doing like an ARP for most of it. Doing, where is it? That sort of thing. And then I had a few samples which I found. Oh, I didn't find. No, so there is a pocket operator in it, but it's sampled because I've never managed to get them to play nicely with other stuff, and because obviously you can't trigger it with MIDI. I just sampled it, and it's doing those really 8-bit drum sounds, which in theory you can obviously do with the Game Boy, but to get decent sort of drum and hit sounds out of it, you need a different piece of software I don't have. this can do it on the noise channel, but it's a bit random as to whether you actually get something that sounds good. And also because it's only got one stereo output, you can't really process the drums separately in the sort of way that you'd want to, separate from the other voices. Like I've got some really long decayed reverb on the other voices that I wouldn't want on drums. You can pan left and right, but then obviously that limits what else you can do with it. I'm trying to think what else is in here. So it's mostly just Volca bass, Volca FM, Game Boy doing 3 different voices, the Volca drum, those like Game Boy-ish drum samples. There is a little bit of Minilog at the very beginning. It's not doing much else. Yeah, it's just doing a sort of vaguely 80s-ish sort of pad. And yeah, that's about it really. It's just variations on that. And then, as I said, there were more variations, but I messed it up.
Cool. But it had a really nice kind of 80s moody vibe to it.
Yeah, that's vaguely what I say it's what I was going for. It's what I ended up with. And I was happy. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Any follow-up questions? I explained myself very badly, so I'm sure there'll be something.
Anybody got any questions?
What was the first thing you put down on this track?
I think it was the Game Boy, because it wasn't long after it wasn't even this Game Boy. I also have a Game Boy Color, but I since given that to my girlfriend. But yeah, I finally got it up and running again with the. Can I get that on this angle? Oh yeah, there you go. So this is basically what do they call it? A Teensy Boy, which is basically it's taking USB MIDI. It's using a Teensy microcontroller, which is this little board here, and then converting that over basically into a signal that the Game Boy can understand. So this is the link cable, which would originally be used for like trading Pokemon and multiplayer on like old original Game Boy games, and it actually sends a protocol over that then the Game Boy, that MIDI Game Boy software can understand in real time and spit out notes. It can also do full-size MIDI, which is really handy. But yeah, I got into this in college, like, oh God, how long ago was that? Oh, that was 10 years ago. Oh, that was a moment. Yeah, me and a friend all got really into chiptune, like a lot, probably too much into chiptune.
No such thing.
And he bought these 2 Game Boys, and very kindly he gave me one of them. It was kind of knackered, and it sat in my drawer for like 8 of those years. And then recently I decided that I was going to actually do something with it, and I spent probably far too much money modding it, so it was a bit more usable. So it's got a backlit LCD screen. Obviously the old one was black and white, and well, it's really blown out. That's annoying. But originally black and white, non-backlit, really slow to refresh LCD, and now it's color, but it's like faux color. Because obviously the Game Boy originally was only black and white. A new case, new buttons, a rechargeable battery. Because otherwise, when I was using the old one and when I was using this originally, I'd go through about, well, it takes 4 AA's, and if you wanted to do a 2-hour session of just messing around with music, you'd go through AA's like nothing else. So yeah, the first port of call for that was the rechargeable battery, which saved me a lot of money. But yeah, very overcomplicated answer to that question. I think I laid down the Game Boy stuff first, and then added some bass, and then added some drums, and then decided I wanted some more 8-bitty style drums, and remembered that I had the Pocket Operator Arcade, which has some really nice samples in it. Sampled that straight into the Force, and made a drum pad out of it. In fact, I should be able to. I think that's the wrong angle. That one. Yeah, so PO Arcade, and then I made a pad out of it, and then I've got. Which has got some really fun noises in it.
Capcom mode.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But I've always been really into those kind of sounds, so I needed to get it out and make a song that was really arcadey and 80s and silly.
Mission accomplished, I reckon.
Yeah, cheers. I think, considering that song has probably been what most people would deem finished for since the first lockdown. And I've just been messing with it and tinkering for a year and not actually just finishing it, which is always my downfall. To the point where I added an entirely new midsection to it in the last hour before we started. But it's crunch time is all that. It always gets me to add new stuff. Or even just start a song from scratch.
Nothing like a good deadline, huh?
I always, that's when I flourish, is when I'm next to or past the deadline.